There is a massive mistake that almost every piece of gardening advice makes when it comes to growing plants in pots. Every single spring, millions of us go to the local garden center and fill our carts with beautiful, expensive plants. We spend our hard-earned cash, put in the sweat and dirt, and then just watch them freeze and die. It drains your wallet, breaks your heart, and to be completely honest with you, it just does not have to happen. The real secret of modern landscaping is that you don't have to treat your potted plants like temporary outdoor guests. There are stunning absolute survivor perennials that will easily live through the bitter cold right there in their modern containers. They will wake up stronger when spring rolls around, giving you an amazing display year after year with zero effort. Welcome to Yard Focus, and today I'll walk you through my absolute top 10 bomb-proof container perennials that actually survive. Kicking off our list, and frankly the absolute king of the shade for modern patios, is the incredible survivor Hosta. If you have a dark balcony facing north, or a corner of your porch where the sun barely touches, this is it. People thought hostas only belonged in the ground, but they produce the most dramatic architectural leaves you will ever see. You can find them in deep ocean blue, bright lime green, and beautiful creamy edges that look perfectly designed. When you plant a hosta in a pot, you suddenly get to control the soil, the water, and the biological drainage. In the ground, heavy winter rain can create a muddy mess and completely rot their root systems before spring arrives. In a pot with a good drainage hole, all that excess freezing water just drains right out of the bottom. When winter comes, the plant dies back, and it basically looks like an empty pot of wet, sad garden dirt. Please don't throw it away, because the roots are down there, sleeping and surviving the freezing cold winter nights. When spring arrives, you will see tightly rolled little cones pushing up through the soil with absolutely incredible natural force. If you want something that looks like feathery, fluffy clouds of color sitting in a shady corner, meet the Astilbe. Astilbe gives you these tall, soft flower spikes in amazing shades of bright red, soft pink, pure white, and purple. These bright, beautiful flowers float right above dark green leaves that look exactly like delicate, expensive woodland ferns in nature. When you put an Astilbe in a large, modern container, it looks like you took a tiny piece of a magical forest. Why is it such an amazing survivor in a pot? Science says that Astilbe really loves consistent, deep, biological watering. In a normal garden bed during a hot summer, this plant can really suffer and crisp up under the baking sun. But in a container, you are the master of the watering can, and you can keep that soil perfectly damp. When cold weather rolls in, it dies back to the roots, but that system easily handles the freezing winter temperatures. By year 3, a single Astilbe in a large pot will grow a massive root mass that produces dozens of flowers. Let's talk about a classic European plant, but we are doing it differently today. It is the famous modern lavender. Think about the relaxing smell, those silvery gray leaves, the purple flowers, and the soft humming of local neighborhood bees. Having a beautiful pot of lavender next to where you drink your morning coffee is one of life's greatest simple joys. Here is a botanical secret that most homeowners never learn. Lavender actually grows significantly better in a pot than the ground. The biological reason is simple. Lavender naturally comes from hot, rocky, dry places found across the sunny Mediterranean coastal region. It absolutely hates sitting in wet dirt, and in a regular backyard garden bed, getting the perfect drainage is really hard. But in a pot, you can mix a bunch of gravel and sand into the dirt, making sure it drains perfectly. Have you ever accidentally killed a lavender plant by giving it too much tap water? It's a highly common beginner mistake. Because lavender is a tough, woody plant, it doesn't disappear in the winter, keeping those silver leaves all year round. The only scientific rule you must follow is to give it a proper haircut after the summer blooming season is totally over. If you are looking for a plant that works hard, never stops smiling, and absolutely refuses to stop making flowers, you need to meet our next incredible survivor, which is called Coreopsis, widely known by landscape experts as the Tickseed. From the very beginning of summer all the way into autumn, Coreopsis just pumps out bright yellow flowers without stopping. It doesn't take breaks. It just keeps growing and blooming week after week, making your outdoor living space look incredibly vibrant. The main reason it is so perfect for container life is that it is scientifically proven to be incredibly forgiving. If you forget to water it during a busy work week, it forgives you. And if the soil is cheap, it thrives. As long as the pot drains well and sits in the bright sun, it will never complain about the tough conditions. The strong root system easily survives the freezing cold in a pot, waking up early when the spring sun comes out. Moving to number 5, we have Heuchera, which is commonly called coral bells by most landscape architects and home designers. If I had to choose just one single plant that makes a pot look stunning for the least effort, it's this. We don't really grow Heuchera for the tiny flowers. We actually grow it for the amazing and deeply colorful architectural leaves. You can get them in dark purple, warm caramel, frosted silver, bright lime green, and deep red for your modern house. They are absolute champions in pots because their roots don't grow very deep, meaning they don't need a massive, heavy container. They also don't care if you put them in full baking sun or deep shade. They just biologically adapt to the spot. In places where the winter isn't brutally cold, they won't even lose their leaves, holding on to that color straight through December. When the main stem starts pushing out of the dirt after 3 years, just replant it a little deeper in the pot. Halfway through our list is the secret weapon that professional landscape designers use to make sure a modern patio looks good. I'm talking about sedge, also known as ornamental Carex, a plant that perfectly fits into clean, modern suburban architectural designs. Sedge looks like a beautiful, thick clump of tall grass that naturally arches right over the side of your expensive pots. It comes in shades of shiny bronze, bright copper, and electric green, giving your container organic movement when the wind blows. It earns its secure spot on this list because it literally never takes a day off, easily handling baking sun and shade. It easily survives if you accidentally overwater it, and it survives if you go on vacation and totally forget to water it. The real magic happens in the dead of winter, when every other flower has completely died back to the bare ground. Your sedge will still be sitting there, perfectly shaped and full of color, keeping your pots from looking sad and empty. It's a true biological perennial that never stops slowly growing, and as the years go by, the beautiful clump just gets thicker. Let's switch gears and talk about the classic coneflower, scientifically known as Echinacea, a staple for any serious modern gardener. If you want to bring the wild, beautiful energy of a natural American prairie right to your front porch, you need this. They produce huge, open daisy flowers with a big, raised cone in the middle, coming in purple, pink, pure white, and red. They bloom from the middle of summer deep into the fall, but the absolute best part isn't just the pretty color. It's the dynamic life they bring, because local butterflies and friendly neighborhood bees are absolutely obsessed with the sweet natural nectar. They are biologically built for tough conditions, featuring a very long, thick taproot that drives deep down into the container's soil. Because of this specialized root, they can handle intense summer heat and terrible droughts without wilting or dropping their big flowers. When autumn finishes, please don't cut the dead flower heads off. Leave them standing because they look highly sculptural in the snow. Little winter birds will land right on your pot to eat the rich seeds, surviving the harsh, cold months with your help. Our next amazing survivor is the African lily, also known as Agapanthus, which is the ultimate architectural showstopper for your deck. This is the exact plant that makes your neighbors stop walking down the sidewalk and ask you what on earth is growing. Agapanthus shoots up these thick, tall, smooth stems, and at the very top, they explode into huge globes of tube-shaped flowers. The vivid blues and purples are so bright they almost don't look real, making your patio look incredibly expensive and designed. Here is the strangest scientific secret about this plant. It actually loves to be totally trapped inside a very small physical space. When you put it in a container, the roots hit the hard edge of the pot and get very heavily crowded. That biological feeling of being totally crowded is exactly what triggers the plant's hormones to create a massive amount of flowers. The golden rule for Agapanthus is to simply ignore it. Do not change its pot and let it get ridiculously tight inside. Getting close to the end, let's look at Catmint, a plant that looks totally relaxed and smells amazing for your outdoor gatherings. If you want a plant that brings in endless butterflies and asks for absolutely zero physical effort from you, go get Catmint. It grows into these soft, overflowing mounds that are covered in hundreds of tiny, light purple flowers during the hot summer. The leaves are a fuzzy silver green, and the whole plant just drapes beautifully over the edges of your expensive modern planters. It's so incredibly easy to grow, it's almost funny. It loves the hot baking sun, and it barely needs any extra water. It is completely freezing-proof, dying back to the dirt in winter, and waking up bigger and wider than the previous year. In the middle of summer, when the first big show of flowers looks tired, take a pair of scissors and brutally cut it. It looks totally crazy, but wait 3 weeks, and it will explode with fresh growth, giving you a massive second round of flowers. We finally made it to the end, and I promised you a plant that literally laughs at the heavy winter freezing snow. This is my absolute personal favorite, the Hellebore, also known as the Lenten rose, earning its permanent spot on your outdoor patio. Hellebores do something that seems completely biologically impossible. They naturally bloom in the dead of winter when everything else is frozen. When there is freezing snow on the ground, the Hellebore pushes up these gorgeous, downward-facing flowers in January, February, and March. Because they originally come from deep native forests, they naturally love the cool, damp soil that a high-quality ceramic pot provides. They are incredibly tough survivors. Local bugs don't eat them, wild deer won't touch them, and solid winter ice doesn't bother them. They are one of the longest living perennials you can buy, living and blooming in the exact same pot for 20 straight years. You don't have to waste your hard-earned money buying weak annuals just to throw them in the trash a few short months later. When you choose the right scientific perennials, your patio pots turn into long-term investments that make a bigger statement every single year. It doesn't matter if you have a baking hot deck, a dark balcony, or just one empty pot sitting by your front door. Tell me in the comments which of these amazing survivor plants you're going to try first on your own modern balcony. If this yard focus guide brought you value today, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel now. We have a lot more honest, easy to follow container gardening tips coming your way soon. So I'll see you in the next video.